Hey everyone, Miles here with a new talk, new canvas, new format. I am in the middle of my art refresh, so glad you could join me here. And we're just going to get started. I have a few more tools, I'll get into it as I pick them up. But what's going on here? Well, every now and again, with my regular art practice, I need to give myself a chance to draw a bunch of different things just to spruce things up a bit. So that's what's happening here. This is a motorcycle from Scott Robertson's sketch collection, volume 2. And I'm drawing first. And I struggle with vehicles. So let's just see how this all turns out. Um, Yeah, but I have been working on my ellipses a little bit more, and so that's why I feel a little confident to start with this image first. Oop, should have ghosted it in just a little bit more. And we'll just run with it. It was a little lopsided, but all good. We have a cylinder right here. So what's going on today? Aside from the drawings that you'll see coming in shortly. I have just finished, I guess it's the framework for my personal art process loop. It's my effort to gamify my art process. I've come up, you know, in my younger days, gaming and stuff. Um, I I'm not sure if I have much of a passion for it nowadays, but I can really appreciate the sort of reward system and the psychology behind it. So I was trying to get that going for myself, mainly to focus in on characters and perspective. And when I get a second, I'll share. So this is coming in from sort of this angle. I'll share what that pretty much looks like in another video. I want to figure out a good way to format that in a way that'll be kind of cool to unveil. And I need to see how effective it is. So far, I've had one day, did some gesture, a little bit of um, perspective, but in a way that I personally haven't before, which is sort of overlaying shapes on top of each other. So I have a few cubes and I'm trying to build something with them. I think I have the sheet around. As I keep going with this, I'm actually going to move these over. I'll show you guys what that kind of looks like. But for me, gamifying the process wasn't necessarily important for my personal enjoyment of it. I would just find I'd be kind of going through the motions. I would have a day when I'm kind of motivated, but I am spending a lot more time thinking about what I should pick up next, what utensil I should use. So, right at the start of New Year's, I had a little bit of time to just sort of reflect on what's really important to me with my art process and what I think I should really start improving on. I want to do comics. Drawing comics is very much thing that I want to be able to do professionally. So, to what degree do I need to focus on painting or studying values? Probably not as much as someone who wants to get into like concept art or illustration. Composition is important. I want to make sure that happens, but probably not so much other parts of the skill tree, if you will, making art. Okay, so this is more. I'm getting into the seed area. This is a interesting, interesting design. But I think motorcycles are cool, so here we are. Something I struggle with. It is kind of proportions. It is kind of making sure that all of these elements sort of line up like I'm seeing in the image, because the back sort of cuts in this image right at this spot where I'm working. Um, with this sketch he drew in marker with each of these arcs. So I'm not really sure where they sort of connect to each other. So I'm just going to go with what I feel like makes sense. I guess it's like a battery or something. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting the base, 4. And then we have this final ellipse that has to cut through the end. All right, and then it's like a lightning bolt. But yeah, with my interest in comics, I think I'm pretty sure I had to think about it, but I think I have more of a passion for the narrative side. I mean, I want to do a lot of cool things with my art. I have my aspirations to make the worlds really come across as lived in and making sure that aesthetic is pleasing to my readers. But I really want my characters to leave an impact. I really want whatever themes that I have to be evident to my readers. So where was I here? Um, this comes down in a sort of diagonal, but what I'm drawing right here kind of comes out a bit, and it has to be lower than this element right here, where the body of this motorcycle is. So I don't want to overdo it. So there we go. And I'm going to leave that looking incomplete a little bit so I can get on to getting the seat. Um, It's interesting. This part comes in a little thin. And then there's another sort of curve. Yeah, this part was supposed to be in the image quite a bit larger. All right, well, it's kind of what I was talking about. I kind of just jump ahead with the details that I'm mostly excited about. So what do we have here? I'm trying to guess on how this all functions. So this part tapers, leading back. I don't want to get this wheel too large. It is slightly larger than the front wheel. So I think I'll just try to get this first curve in. Yeah, half the time working with pen, it is very much trying to clean up wherever I get wrong. I'm just kind of thinking through the details, right? How do we fix this? All right. And I can see that he pretty much got that ellipse going. These are level. Cool. And I'll just bring it down. Okay. Cool. So we have that part of the wheel in. We'll just keep it going. And then we have whatever's used to affix the wheel in there. And this final ellipse. Then I'll fix up. All right. Definitely warming up on my ellipses here. So the next few drawings should go a little better. But this is really just giving myself a chance to explore things that during the week I'm going to skip out on. Um, so I can focus on things like the fundamentals. Okay, well, I'll just add that part there. So there's our motorcycle. There are definitely more details, like right here. I can just sort of block in. There's a bit of like a window situation going on. And then right here, it's very narrow. And this is a good opportunity to use one of the additional tools that I have here. It's ink wash. Um, you know, I've probably spoken about this on a different video, but this wasn't like my own idea. Learn Squared. I um, signed up for a class. It's Ink Fundamentals with Aaron Lamonic, and I'm having a really good time with it. Um, one of the courses involved. Okay, so this is It's not this the brush I was trying to use. It's this one, slightly darker. So I have something that's a lighter tone. I have this one right here. So we have it right in there. Sort of gives a sense of a sort of depth. We have this element here that's shaded, and also right in here. Um, and nothing else is really darkened too much that he did. Maybe just like this back seat. All right, getting to the next piece because I don't really want to slow down right now. The next piece I'm going to draw is a bit of architecture. This is coming from Rendering in Pen and Ink by Arthur Guptill. Love this book. I love the sort of exercises. Just getting my strokes right with my pen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to do it real quick because I'm not used to doing environments at all. So I think I'm going to stick it in right in this area. All right, so when I was sort of discussing about drawing comics, I'm trying to think of some sort of standout examples. I guess I'll start the far distance right here, where narrative has really struck me, or their use of narrative I thought was kind of interesting or clever. But I'm really into books. I want to take what I love about literature and add a little bit more into my characters there. Because look, I am a fan of a lot of manga. I've read One Piece and such. Huge fan of Ichiro Oda's work, but to an extent, it's serialized, and in all fairness to that guy, um, after what is it, 20 years, the fact that he's been able to carry these characters um, with a very consistent tone and everything. I need to differentiate these things just in my head is awesome, but he can only go but so far because he has so many different elements that he's trying to work out at once, with the plot and the world. I don't think I could match that. That's that's not what I'm really going for. Um, I have some ideas, literary ideas that I just want to be novels straight up, but I'm just in love with comics as a medium, and I love to draw. So it's more like these things just have to go together. There's no other way to do this or to handle this. All right, so this is for sake of 1 point perspective, as I've been learning. This has to be the longest, and then we're all gonna shrink back into the distance. And we have this larger building. Yeah, environments are important, and I just have not given myself a chance because I want to focus on characters. Characters are the exciting part. Yeah, as we all know. All right, this is a far distance, and it's about to cross into the lamppost. So let me establish this diagonal here. And we can say kind of dips out. That direction. I'm gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna eyeball it. Because this street comes to pretty much. It's separated by this raised banister, and you have a view of the water on the side. Cool. All right, I'm gonna throw in this lamppost now. I I'm tempted. There's no rule against it. And this thing has some details that I want to actually try to put in here. So I'm going to get another brush. Okay. Yeah, and this kind of is reminding me a little bit of what art is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about exploration as well as discipline, whatever that we are trying to get into, whatever endeavor it is. We have to make sure that we sort of keep the fun alive. Okay, great. There's this sort of floral engraving. And then we have another platform. All right, as I'm going through this, let me share some of my ideas for future videos, what's going to be coming up. And I just want to put it in clear terms so we don't get the wrong idea about the content that I'm putting out. But I want to do some teaching stuff, teaching to learn. So I am obviously not a professional. None of this is, you know, giving this guy can just like get up and produce his own IP just like right off the bat. It's not happening for some time. But um I was watching a video by Mark Burnett, I like a lot of his stuff. Um, so this reaches pretty much as far as this point here. The reason why I'm kind of able to make these judgments, I've been drawing and copying stuff for a decent long time, but I haven't felt the confidence to actually try to make anything of it. Mostly because I thought the content that was already out was good, and what am I going to contribute really, uh, when we have so many people who are coming up with wonderful ideas and people who are professionals already who are actively coming up with freaking awesome ideas. Like, what can I do? Like, do I really have the nerve to try? Was my mentality. But now I see that art is expression. Art really is expression, and there's just different ways I want to express myself. So, getting back to the topic, Mark Burnett had a cool video on productivity. Um, and in fact, I should have been trying to reinforce some of that just a moment ago when I was doing a little bit of the vehicle. It's tilting a little bit, kind of. Um, where he was mentioning there's like three different trees. He organizes them into like trees. A lot of his concepts, which work well with me, um, to help with the process of learning your art. Take breaks, repetition, I believe, was one of them. The thing that you would hear, not just on like art videos, but just videos on productivity in general. It's the new year, so it's time for a lot of these videos to come out, I guess. But he said something about teaching to learn, and I thought, okay, okay. Especially if I can go ahead and I know that I can go along with taking a break every, what is it? Like, take a break every 45 minutes, give yourself 5 seconds to breathe, that sort of thing. Let your mind kind of grasp what's going on while you're spending these, he said, like 90-minute sessions just to get a hang of it. And obviously, you know, as good as that advice is, I'm also doing my own thing. Um, but going through the process of trying to describe what you did is also a good way to reinforce what you're trying to get a grasp of. So at the moment, the only thing that you would be able to really be able to count on me to have any input on, it's stuff like perspective, getting character proportions, gesture. Those are the things I could say fairly confidently. Um, you could count on me to make a video or two about. And there's going to be a lot of book reviews coming up. I want to, for myself, if I was ever going to promote anything, to be able to offer anything to the art community, it would be the idea of loving the process. There is another lamppost, but I'm just going to rough this one in. Um, this one's getting the brush treatment. then we have, I mean, it's just below this rooftop. So, and then there's one additional. Oh God. All right. Well, let's see. Um, yeah, because over the years, doing life drawing and copying from my favorite comics and stuff, um, that's all been fun and good. But what, I have an end goal, and truth is, I never really feel like there isn't something to do, like, which I think will help me out quite a bit in the future. There's never something that I'll feel like, okay, now, what now? What now with my art? What else can I do? I'll be able to offer quite a bit of variety, I think, in terms of things that I can do to nurture a community here, and um, I'll figure out what exactly counts for values with me, um, or just like what else I would personally want to try to promote. Just like how I had my apprehensions with comics, you better believe with something like YouTube, if there is a disposition, if there is a way to think about things, people are already thinking that, you know? So I will bring what I got, which is just a joy of learning. Oh, yeah, if there's one thing that I got, I it's just a love of, and I don't, I don't want to alienate anybody, but I actually like the fundamentals. I actually have have a love for this stuff. Um, it's difficult. There's layers to it. Excuse me. And when you're gamifying something, there's nothing that people are looking for more from, or even back when I was kind of gaming like that. People are just looking for things to do. People are looking for content. If we're talking art, there is plenty to do. Um, I know to resonate with the community, you kind of got to say, "Oh yeah, but this thing is boring." I don't honestly feel that way. All right, before I bring this down any lower, I do need to establish how this distant arch sort of comes out. So that this piece there, this kind of clashes right here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. I feel kind of confident with how things are going. The way the art is kind of blocked in this stuff, it's just shaded in. So I'm not going to get too caught up. Yeah. I'm going to try not to bore you guys with pure fundamental content. I want to do fun stuff like this. I want to have more opportunities for exploration, but for what I'm actively putting time into and what I'm looking to improve on, which is comics, I kind of and there's like a little statue here. Let's give the impression I'm seeing right there. And it's wonder how far I can push this. It's one long bridge right there. I'm going to do a few more details for the building and then we're moving on to the next subject. Here we go. Here we go. Um, the brush pen really does make it a lot easier to just get these curves in, even when I'm hesitating. The ink is kind of setting, but you can also see my hesitation pretty clearly. All right. What are the final details for this? If you couldn't see, there are a few details right here at the bridge that are kind of off. But that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy about that. I do want this raised platform to have these sort of elements in place. You can see right there. And then I'm going to take my other ink pen to do the windows. It's not just one line, it's to give that impression right there. Where's this? Right here. Okay. Okay. Yes. Is that line straight? That's the question. Okay, this is actually kind of cool. So to give this impression of the rooftop, it's just a bunch of lines. It's not. I love that. Okay. First, just so it looks kind of fun, I'm gonna ink wash these details right here. I'm gonna try to leave a space because there is like a window right there. It is really dark right here. Okay, cool. Like, yeah. And this paper doesn't buckle too much, which I'm really happy about. This shadow kind of carries. Um, what I am using, this paper, it's Strathmore mixed media. Loved it so much. I got an additional sort of sketchbook that I'm going to be using for some personal painting projects. Speaking of which, I have these panels of colors on my page. I'm going to be working on painting a little bit. I'm working out the values. This is going to be a sandcastle. So that's something I'm going to be doing along. This is going to be the sort of dark gray panel I'm going to try to work in a little bit of a city scene at night. That one I will not be doing over the camera because I just don't know how it's going to turn out. I really want to take my time with it. So it'll just be visible um, by the end uh, or you'll see the end product in just like another video. And that's how we'll handle it. So this really only goes as far as here, but it also sort of carries off in this direction. Yeah. It gets much lighter, which is what I think I'll use this for. And then I'll block in a few of the buildings. There we go. Just like that. And then you have a little bit of ink on this building right here. I'll bring it down. Great. This building should have been a little wider. That's okay. And that's sort of an alleyway in between. And we have a little something up top. All right. Detail on the windows. And then we move on. Yeah, this is my personal project. The channel, I mean. I want to be able to take advantage of being able to highlight all of the challenges I might have. I want to be able to provide a safe place where people can just see, hey, this is art, and mistakes are often made. I mean, like it's not just your own work. We all go through it. I want to be a pro. I want to be transparent about the struggle. Struggle. Um, and I think my love of the struggle is something that will mesh very well. Because once you learn your tools, they only want to work with you. Not that these things are sentient, but the tools that you have, you gotta believe that everything is anticipating the desire to see you win. You know. Here's another clever thing with the rendering. You leave a little bit as I'm learning, as I'm copying this right now. Just that white space gives that sense of there's a little more depth to this material. I think that's really fun. All right, just needed to do that. A lot of these brush pens, these brush-like materials, kind of hard to close. There. And this last one is like right here. We have our other windows. Again, it's just detail right now. It's just mark making that's giving the impression of a window. Which I think is this is crazy. Do that, and then I just get some curved lines in going. We're golden. All right. The door itself. Not to mention that this stops somewhere. You know, pretty much right there. It's I'll just get the more of what I was doing with those windows. But making it a light gray portrays depth. That's crazy. It just leads right in to the door itself. You get the impression it's leading you somewhere. Okay, I love it. You know who really did everything that I talk about? I'm going to leave a link. Um, but Antonio Stapperts, he did a video on this book. I didn't purchase it because of his video. I purchased it because of Proko, Stan Prokopenko, and Marshall Vandruff. They have a really cool um, podcast. If you've never checked it out, you probably should. Yeah, it's off. Um, yeah, it's all good. All good. We're gonna continue from here. I have time. What I will hold you up on is one more video, one more image, and this will be an actual character that I was. But I have something for an animal as well. Um, it's gonna be the character. I just have to adjust the camera real quick because I'm not sure where we're at with things. But yeah, this is from Sea of Stars, concept art of Bryce Coe. I love his work. He has an art book that came out. I think it's Overflow. I'm gonna capture this guy. I don't think the camera's gonna be able to capture this, so I just have to see where that falls. All right. Actually, it should work. So the image is going up here, and I'll just scooch a bit. Let me make sure I didn't. Yeah, we'll just do that right there on the corner. We will get into it. Okay. So, I guess I'll share some of what I love about this character design. Well, the huge sword is one piece of it. I'm actually going to gesture things in a little bit because this is not an easy pose. The start of this, I will say, indicates the ear for me. And I'll give an impression of the hair. Comes out like that. What's back here? Here we go. Oh, is this going to come out okay? There we go. I'm going to have this detail of the sleeve. There we go. Um, yeah, there's these little spikes in the scarf, which are just it's like a playful kind of edginess to it, to the character. But it's large enough to kind of resemble a cloud. I like it. Okay, so we have the sleeve right there. I'll use this opportunity to sort of create an opening, but I'll make the arm. I guess And just say it starts right there. There we go. Just being able to balance a little bit of what I see. I get most of that from life drawing. You just have to eyeball and get a sense of the proportions. That's the arm, but I don't want to get carried away with the last part because it's a little bit elongated. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm gonna screw that up if I don't have the legs. So I'm gonna move on for a little bit. All right, great. Um, and then the actual shirt feels like a mess. It's like a mess of details. But I have to make a move. Yeah, if I don't make a move, I don't make any progress, and we can't let that happen. Okay, so I see this had a little bit of a trailing thread to it. That does help somewhat with the torso. There's somewhat of a sash that comes. But life drawing is not necessary whatsoever. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But it is handy. It just reinforces the discipline of when to stay your hand when you're drawing. Not to second guess yourself per se, but to look at something that's kind of challenging and then just say, all right, well, if I don't do it now, then, I don't have a complete image. This next piece isn't doable without the hair. So here we go. So I just drew that part right there. So it kind of just frames the head, really. I think it's supposed to be way bigger. Oh well. Okay, cool. Not all my videos are going to be this long. I'm going to be pushing to keep things around the 14 to 15-minute range. I just started having fun, so we're gonna see this city end. So there's that shoulder plate. I think this bicep can be a little larger. Okay. And we have this sort of cough. Something of note. There we go. I'm still not sure if I want to continue. So, I'm going to carry on a little carefully here. He has a sash at the back. But, I'm just going to draw in the pants where I think they start. So a lot of this is really cool and it's gestural. And by that reasoning, I sort of have a sense of how he's depicting the leg muscles, which is really cool. But here we go. And then right around here, there's that indication. There we go. Just the pants right there. And now I have my confidence to attempt what we got going on over here. So that's the start of the sash. And these pants are just really baggy. I think that's what I'm having some difficulty with. And the boots are just wild. Um, Okay. I think I can just. There we go. Cool. Then there's sort of this ornament on the shoe, which I think is really cool. Cool. All right, taking that into account, I'm not too scared anymore of just doing the arm. There we go. Just like the buildings, it's mark making to sort of give indication of the anatomy. These fingers. Oh, all right. It's something to work towards as well. This is a bit easier. I really want to get to doing the sword. That thing looks awesome. Uh, all right. If you made it this far, I think I've definitely made this whole thing 2 parts. Let me just get this. So that's sort of showing. the inner part of the ornamentation for the shoe. There we go. There's the other shoe. There we go. Push this up some. It arcs just around him, just before it gets to the tip of his hair. That's fun. And then as for the sash, I think I'm going to make that a two-parter. I'm going to start with the lighter. Ink wash. And then we're going to add the darker shade just to have a little bit of fun with things. Yeah, this kind of lassos out. And then it kind of bulges here. And then lastly, it extends right past the arm. We're going to bring it back. Great. All right, I'll just add in these details here. Cool. That's the character. So, For my art exploration, I did bring it all the way back to character anyhow. But it's usually a bit more chaotic. And I'll throw in an animal or two there, but the video's gone long enough. So thank you so much for sticking around as long as you have. And let's do this again sometime. I kind of do this once a month. Um, if I really need it, it might come out like, you know, a bit more frequently. So we'll see where it goes. All right. That's all we got. Until next time. See ya.